putting the rice to boil. I've already washed my rice. We're not going to boil our rice with any salt today because the dish is going to have saltfish in it. You can leave out the saltfish, it is optional. You can make it all vegetarian. So we're going to let this come up to a boil and let that rice cook until it's tender. Not too soft, not too hard. Hi guys, welcome back to my kitchen and channel. So today I'm going to show you my string bean and rice with saltfish and veggies. You can make it vegetarian and leave out the saltfish. So I have here my rice which has been boiled already, and you're going to boil it not too hard, not too soft, like for fried rice. I have my saltfish pieces that's washed and just in chunks. I have here my onions, and one purple onion, one white onion. I have to cut up that celery. I have my grated carrots, my diced red bell pepper, and I have my fine thyme, and I have some chili pepper here that I have to cut up. I won't cut it too fine. And I have my string bean that's cleaned and washed and cut up here. So moving on to the next step is to blanch these string beans in some water. So I have my water that's heated already, and in goes my string beans or green beans. And we're just going to blanch these for less than 5 minutes because we want to keep that crisp on them. So I'm just going to cover it, and once it starts back to bubble or to boil, that's when I'm going to strain it or drain it. So you see it started to boil and it still has that nice green color. So it's time to get this drain out. So it's drained, and after you put it in that drainer or colander, run some water, some cold water over it and open it out back in a wide dish, so the heat will come out and it will air out and it will dry out. So I just have to shell out the leaves from the fine thyme, and I have here my chili pepper that I cut. This is the chunky way you're going to leave it, because you don't want to do it too fine and the whole entire dish gets on the hot side. So leave it like this. The celery is already chopped up as well too, and I like using one regular onion and one purple onion diced together with that grated carrots. It will give the rice a nice color to it. Also, I added my green seasoning, which I forgot to add. This is going to flavor up the saltfish when it's fried up. Also, it's going to flavor up the rice. Now, this is bandania, garlic and pimento peppers. If you don't get access to bandania, cilantro is a good option. I prefer using the cilantro, but I don't really have any, so the bandania is the closest thing to the taste. The flavor of this dish is going to be like a cilantro lime flavored rice together with all this extra veggies. It's a good way to incorporate string beans into a dish, because a lot of people don't really like string beans, but if you do it like this version, it's going to be delicious. And the reason why I don't cut it up smaller than this, because I like getting a whole piece of string bean to eat, or green beans. Another thing is, if usually we accustom currying string beans with potato and chicken, or curry string bean and rice, or curry string bean and whatever meat you choose to use in it. A lot of people tend to get, when you're fed up of the curry, this is a good version of going about doing the string beans to incorporate it into your dish. So let's get cooking on the stove. Let's move across to the stove and get this dish cooking. So I'm using my wok to do this, and that's oil. In my oil, you have to fry up your saltfish first. So let this fry up and get on the crispy side. And then we move on to the next step. When you're cooking saltfish or frying up saltfish, it tends to let out a little liquid before it starts to get crispy. That liquid is from the salt from the saltfish when it has been salted. So let that dry out properly and it will come back to the oil and get crispy. If you don't want to use saltfish, you can use regular white codfish and just do it like this. It won't have the salt taste to it, but you can always add salt from on top. If you don't like the saltiness or the codfish, you can do salmon. You can get the salmon fish or even the tilapia fish and cut it up into chunks and fry it up like this first. It will be a nice flavor as well too. But leave your pieces of fish in chunks so when it's frying, it will remain a little whole. So it has fried up. Now we will add our white onions. Will go in. Our carrots will go in because we want that carrot to cook up a little bit. Give that a mix. Let that carrot soften up a little bit. We will add our red bell pepper or sweet pepper. Let that saute up for a bit. You just want it to saute up a little bit. You do not want it to get soft on you or too on the softened side. Next, we will add our fine thyme. Let that fragrance up the veggies. Our purple onion will go in. We want to leave that purple onion a little on the crunchy side. That's why I didn't add it with the white onions. Our green seasoning. And now we will add our rice. When all of the rice is added, just loosen back up your rice. Spread it out. And our celery will go in. Our chili pepper will go in. And we're just going to give this a mix before adding in our beans. Now this will taste very good by itself, but as I said, it's a good way to incorporate the string beans. Now we will add our string beans. Just give it that mix. String beans. Now we will mix everything together. You can turn off your heat or your stove at this point. It's a good way to make a dry meal or a dish without having to use curry. And you will still enjoy your string beans and your rice in one. Look how good that looks. Doesn't that look good? And you still have your chunks of your saltfish pieces. Or if you want it fine, you can just mash it up finer and use it. And that's all there is to it. Very simple to put together, easy, very flavorful as well too. And for people who have stomach problems, at least you're not going to have that with this meal because it don't have any curry in this, and it's going to be very delicious. Now you can leave it like that, but I just like to drizzle a little bit of orange juice or lime juice and just give it that mix again. That just balances out the salt taste from the saltfish. It's just a very little bit. The lime juice or lemon juice is better to use. I just didn't have any, so I had my orange juice and I just used a little bit. Now for the people who don't like the spice, just fish out the chili peppers and you'll be fine. If everybody loves the spice, then just,